Welcome to SnailTrail4x4 Podcast Video Edition. This is part 2 of our campfire discussion where Tyler's asking me a series of questions. Our podcast was so long, I'm just using the campfire discussion. I'm breaking this up into 3 sections, so this is part 2. In this section, Tyler asked me a lot about my first trucks, what I had, the family that I currently have of all my vehicles in the yard, and he starts asking me about how I got started in YouTube and things of that nature. So I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so what was your first vehicle?
My first vehicle was a 1986 Jeep Cherokee.
Okay, we'll skip that question then.
And then it was actually my parents' Jeep, and then they classified it as a lemon through the insurance because it was that poor. And then we've never owned a Jeep since.
That's funny. So as Jimmy was saying that, I don't know, some of you might have to rewind the YouTube video and watch it, but his face got just as red as this Nalgene bottle as he was saying that his first vehicle was an 86 Jeep Cherokee. Continue.
So shortly after that, when they got rid of it, they got a 1990 Toyota pickup.
Okay.
And in all, that was mine to use whenever I wanted. I took that to college. I drove it all around. Had it for many, many years until it totaled.
Okay. So how long did you have the Cherokee then? Not like a couple of years?
I don't even know if I had the Cherokee when I had it when I was 16. I doubt I had it. I don't know if I even had it at 17. So, okay. I mean, I probably drove it around. It was the first manual, too. It was a manual vehicle. That was the first manual I learned how to drive. And I was probably driving at 15 and drove it a little while at 16.
Okay.
It was a 2-door, too. So it was sort of a pain in the butt on that aspect.
Yeah. Okay. So was it kind of the first vehicle you've ever taken off-roading as well? Or was that your pickup, your 90 pickup?
It probably was the first one. Mm-hmm. I didn't really do if anything, it was, pulling out on a little dirt road here and there.
Okay.
It wasn't anything too crazy or, I didn't go hydrolock that one.
Yeah. Jimmy Hydrojet. So what then was your first off-roading vehicle then? Was it the pickup?
The 1990 pickup. It was the 3.0 extended cab. And then for the most part, it had stock tires. And then really the only upgrade I did to it was I put 31-inch tires on it. And then upgraded the stereo. And that was really about it.
Otherwise, you kept it pretty stock?
Otherwise it was bone stock. Mm-hmm. When I did hydrolock it, we did change out the motor, and we put in the correct head gaskets.
Okay.
And then I drove it for many years after that into college. And there was another, Jeremy from Slow Counting Crawlers, a good buddy of mine, had the same truck on 33s. And the V6 also, and we would romp around campus and have we would do all kinds of shenanigans out in the back country of Fort Ord, and we had a lot of fun. So
nice. Was there any specific event or trip in your off-roading career that you can remember where it was a light bulb went off and you're like, "Yep, I'm gonna keep doing this"?
That's a tough question. I can remember one time back in high school when we would go wheeling on this sort of fire road next to the railroad tracks, like a maintenance road for the railroad tracks that happened to be open. And all my friends called this hill Truck Hill or Toyota Hill because no Toyota's ever made it up.
Not enough power?
No, it's just, I don't know. No Toyota ever made it up. But then I made it up. And they're like, oh, well, now we should call this Jimmy's Toyota Hill or something like Jimmy that. Hill. And that was that was fun. I showed all them, and there was some other full-size vehicles. I know one of my buddies had a Power Wagon. One of my buddies had an old TJ, and one of them had, we were a mixed bunch of random vehicles. And then I had that, the 1990 Toyota pickup. And I really all I did was skinny pedal it, and I made it up. And it was just a really joyous occasion when all my friends were like, wow, you you did the hill that no Toyota could ever do, you know. And I was like, yep, that was fun. I could enjoy this.
That's cool. Yeah. That's fun. Off-roading, man. Once you accomplish something, and it's just like you accomplished it, and it just hooks you for life.
No, that's really, it's about, a lot of it is, and that's what it was hard to try to figure out with that question, is that a lot of it's baby accomplishments that are really a lot of fun, right? Like, I don't think I can make it through that, and then you do, and you're like, wow, I totally did that. Like, I had a lot of friends like spotting me and helping me, but me and my truck made it through that.
Yeah.
And, and then, you do learn a lot, like, on how to drive and the feel of your vehicle. We kind of talked about that, and how to look forward, but also understand what's happening underneath, and then when you start to realize that, like, I don't need to be paying so much attention, memorize what's coming at me all the time, and you just, like, you kind of learn how to grow as a four-wheeler, and it's just, it's a lot of fun on that aspect.
Nice. So what do you currently have vehicle-wise?
We're going to talk about the family.
We're going to talk about the family, but we're gonna just give us a brief overview, because then we'll get into I guess we can combine it into one. Who's the family? What vehicles do you have, and what have you currently, anything special about them? What have you done with them so far?
Sure. I have 6 trucks.
6 trucks.
Yeah.
Are they all Toyotas?
No.
Okay. Is one of them an 86 Cherokee?
No. No. One of them is a 1997 F-250 7.3 diesel Ford.
It's a Ford.
Yep, and that's the tow rig. That's Clifford. Cliff.
Why is it named
Ford.
Clifford? Oh, I always thought it was Clifford because of...
It's the big red truck.
The big red truck,
that too. Okay. But it's Cliff. It's a Ford named Cliff, and then it's big and red, so Clifford.
Okay.
Just had some fun with that one.
You're so punny.
Yeah. And it's bone stock for the most part. Transmission's been rebuilt. I bought it like in November.
Steering wheel column's been rebuilt.
Steering wheel column now has been rebuilt. And just a few things, like I actually need to change out a blinker, and there's some small things, but otherwise the truck is really, really nice.
Are you going to redo the blinker fluid too while you're in there?
Yeah, might as well.
Cool. It's always good to do, just for everybody out there.
Yeah. So then after I had, I'll go back in life here a little bit. After I had the 1990 Toyota pickup, I actually drove a Ford Taurus for a little bit.
Okay.
And that car was quick, actually.
Did you ever take it off-roading?
Yes.
As you should.
Yeah. And that vehicle got totaled also.
Okay.
So the truck I hit somebody, but it wasn't my fault.
Okay.
The Taurus, I hit somebody and it was my fault. And then at that point in time, I was just graduating college and didn't really need a car at that point in time. So I had a little lull where I didn't have a vehicle, and I just kind of jumped on my bike or jumped in with friends and things. And then when I graduated, my grandma gave me like a chunk of money for graduation. And then that's when I bought Bobcat.
Okay.
And so Bobcat is a 1991 Toyota pickup.
Okay.
Extended cab. It's a 4-cylinder, the 22 RE.
Great engine.
Yep. A stout engine. It's now has 37-inch tires on it, dual transfer cases, 529 gears. One of the transfer case has a 4.7 in it.
Nice.
It's pretty much like a lot of people build their truck up in the same method. So
just without the Chevy 63s in the rear.
Yeah. Yet. And those are coming. And it's bobbed, and then extended the frame a little bit on the rear to make a bumper.
Is that why it's called Bobcat?
Yeah, actually, it did have that. That is part of the reason. So I didn't know what at Christmas one year, or was it Christmas, or I think it was Thanksgiving. My cousin, I drove my truck to Thanksgiving, and my cousin's like, "What's its name?" I'm like, "I don't know. I never named a vehicle. Like, it doesn't have a name. What should I name it?" And she named it Wildcat.
Okay.
And because I had Wildcat tires.
Oh, okay.
And then when I bobbed the truck, I changed the name to Bobcat.
Okay.
And so that's
Bobcat.
Yeah. And so that's why it's called Bobcat. So, okay. And then let's see.
And that's your rock crawler, right?
And that's my rock crawler. Okay. That's the big truck. That's what I like. Yeah, that's the one I've had for years and years. And That's the one. If I go do anything silly and crazy, that's the one I'm driving usually.
Okay, so and that's the one we got to do the work on to get so you can go off-roading this year here.
Yep.
Okay, so who else?
And then, so my daily driver is Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte is a 2016 Tacoma with the TRD off-road package.
Okay.
For the most part, it's pretty bone stock. I've done a few small things. I've added skid plates. I put some Laminex filters on the front and added center console configures, like organizer. Thank you. And then configurizer. I've major plans for that vehicle. I want to get it up on at least 35s. I would love to get it on 37s. But it's going to be baby steps for the YouTube channel where I want to do a spacer leveling kit. I'll do a spacer lift, and then maybe I'll start doing a suspension lift, and maybe go to, get up to like a 4.5, maybe 5-inch lift kit, and then maybe go long arms, and then, just go bigger and bigger and bigger until the new Tacoma version comes out, and then maybe I'll get that. So, nice. And then I have a truck called Lloyd, which is a 1995 Toyota pickup, which was my daily driver. I have one small thing I want to do to it. I want to put it on. I want to do spacers between the ball joints and the upper control arms to show how to do that, and then I'm going to be selling Lloyd here in the near future.
Nice. So Lloyd has the 22RE as well.
Yes.
And Lloyd is clean.
Lloyd's super clean.
He's super clean truck. So if anybody's looking for a really clean 95 pickup with a really nice 22RE, let Jimmy know. So manual, automatic?
It's a manual. Right? It's a manual, 22RE. It's pretty much bone stock all around.
Has a torsion lift right now where you crank the torsion.
No, not anymore.
Bar.
I actually just lowered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I lowered it down to be level. Because when I put these spacers in, I want to see actually how much it lifts.
Nice. Okay.
So, but it'll have like a 1.5-inch lift in the front, and then pretty much stock height in the rear. Still, so, but it's a great truck.
Yeah,
I really like it, and I'm actually like trying to figure out how to keep it, but I don't know if I'm going to.
Yeah,
I don't really need it is the problem.
Yeah.
And then let's see. So then that leads us to Samantha. Samantha is a 1990. Lloyd is a 95. Samantha is a 94.
Oh, okay. Thought she was 92.
No, I think she's a 94.
Yeah,
I think it's 2-wheel drive Toyota pickup with a 22RE, and right now she's pretty much bone stock because I need to go get her smogged. I need to do a little bit of work to go get her smogged, but then go get her smogged, and then I'm going to build her up very similar fashion to Bobcat. I'm going to do a solid axle swap. I'm going to do dual T cases. On this instance, I need to actually change the rear axle out because I want the lug pattern to be the same because 2-wheel drives are 5-bolt lugs. And
I didn't know that.
Yep. And so here's my fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day.
The first gen Toyota Tacomas. You can tell if there are pre-runner or a 4-wheel drive by the amount of lugs that they have. 5 bolt
patterns.
Yep.
Nice.
5 bolt is 2-wheel drive, and so even if they yank off all the stickers and all the badging,
you can still look at that.
Yeah, you can still look down at how many lugs they have and see whether it's a 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. But yeah, so that's going to be the major build coming up here on the channel. And then I think the last one is, do I have one more?
One more.
All right, Becky. Becky is like the redheaded stepchild, the black sheep of the family. She's like a parts truck, just sits behind the shop. Nobody ever really sees her.
She's right on the other side of this wall.
Yeah, literally right there. And she's got a 22RE in it. When I bought her, it came with 2 transmissions with 2 T cases. It's just a part. It was just all completely apart. Like it had the engine, its ratchet strapped in place. It had this solid axle done. The rear is stock, like everything's stock back there. And then it had everything in the bed. And so, I got it at a pretty decent price, and I'm going to use a lot of that for Samantha.
Yeah.
And build Samantha up with that. And then that's a 1989, I think. And that body is super clean too.
Yeah.
So depending on how things go with the channel or what, and all of this, I might drop a 4.3 liter Chevy motor in there with some full widths underneath it, and I want to go 42s.
Nice.
At least that's the goal. Yeah. And so we have to get, in my mind, I have to get Lloyd sold so I can buy some parts for Charlotte, and then get Samantha registered so I can start tearing it apart with parts from Becky. Mm-hmm. And then if all that goes well, running. And got to get Bobcat running, and if all that works well, then I'll build Becky up to be a pretty big rig.
Nice.
So.
Then we could take Becky down to the south. We had a listener call in and say he'd take us to some mudding competitions. Yeah. So we can build up Becky for a mudding vehicle and go on a trip.
Yeah, I'm down. I would love for the long-term view of the, the channel is to go travel around the nation and go do different events.
That'd be freaking
with
awesome.
Different people. Like, go to the south and buy a vehicle and build it to be mud boggered and see how it does.
Yeah.
And, go to Colorado and do some overlanding or something, and, go down to Glamis in Southern California and build a rig to go romp through the dunes, and things of that nature. I think that'd be so much fun, and it'd be such a cool channel. It's just, I don't have the funds to do that, right now. And that's one of the things I'm trying to figure, like, how do we figure out how to do these cool things that we can go and do? So.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the things we're working on. But and that's one of the kind of the eventual goals of the channel is we'd love to get out there and build a rig specifically for the whoops.
Yeah.
And just go out desert racing.
Oh, go out romping it.
We'd love to build a rig and run the Everyman Challenge or the stock class at KOH. We'd love to build a rig and go down to a mudding competition and all this stuff, but it just requires money. So we're working on it.
Yeah, the time isn't really the issue. It's actually the money,
Yeah. So cool. How did you, speaking of the channel, how did you get into YouTube? When did you get into YouTube? Why did you get into it?
I've always been, as you guys know, since we've been talking about my past, I've always been into trucks. Mm-hmm. And so I've always been tinkering. I've always been playing. I've been going out on a lot of wheeling trips. I've actually been going out on way more wheeling trips since I started the channel. Because I wanted to just create content and, continue to go and do fun things. Whereas when I was younger, I'd be like 2 or 3 trips a year. And that was it, And so I just was telling my friends, like, I watch all these YouTube channels and, all this stuff. And I think I can do that. And some instances, I think I can do it better and help people and teach people on how to do things. And, and my friends were like, do it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Nice. And it was one conversation over beers when, I had a few close friends that we used to go out like once a week and go have dinner together and do our little guys' night and just get away and, hang out and BS and poke fun at each other and have a few beers, and relax. And I told him about it. I was like, I want to do 2 things. Every time we go out, I want to be going somewhere different, and I want to write a Yelp review about it. And I want to start this YouTube channel. Well, I'm not doing the Yelp thing, but I'm still doing the YouTube thing. And so, and that's about it, and it's just, I had a lot of projects lined up, and I had a few things that I really wanted to show off and show people how to do. Like my corner blinker lights, we actually got some negative feedback on that the other day about some guy thinking it's a really horrible video because I wasn't showing any of the up close details. Mm-hmm. And, that's a thing that I'm struggling with today is like, how do I show this better? What do I do?
You need an actual camera person. That's what I've been finding too. Like the videos that, when I have the time to come over and help with, I get some really cool footage of you explaining everything, getting the close-up shots of what we're looking at. So we just need to find more time to. Yeah, I need to find more time to get over and help out.
I think I actually need an actual zoom camera. None of the cameras I own, I have 4 GoPros and the DJI. None of them zoom.
Oh,
and so getting into
that's difficult to do.
That's actually really difficult part for me to do. Granted, that corner blinker video that I did, I really wanted to show that off and show it to people and show how, look, it's so easy if you're removing your bumper and putting a tube bumper on there. It's so easy to change out your corner blink or your corner running lights and make them into blinkers. And that was the 2nd or 3rd video I ever did. So it was it was a horrible video. I didn't know what I was doing, and I think I commented to you, well, at least people are still watching it. Like that's actually somebody's referencing that video. That is still horrible.
His exact feedback was the videoing was not that great.
Yeah.
But he said
if you follow along with what the guy's
saying, it's very easy to follow along, and what you were explaining it really well.
Yeah.
So, and it was just funny that just randomly popped up in a random group that I'm in on Facebook, and I was like, Jimmy. So I took a screenshot. I was like, Jimmy, look, you popped up in the First Gen 4Runner group.
Yeah. But, and that's, a lot of those things are what really inspires me now is the fact that I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not a coach. I'm not any, excuse me. I'm not any of those things. But I have videos now where I have like 60,000 people have watched this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so like some of it's probably for some entertainment, basic entertainment, but a lot of it's probably because somebody's doing that.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've taught some 60,000 people on that video on how to do something.
Well, we had the really cool feedback that you got that one time about the guy you saved his life.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned in one of your videos, whenever you remove a tire and you're going to have your vehicle up on jack stands, throw the tire under the frame rail. Just in case anything happens, the car comes down while you're under it, it'll at least land on the wheel and tire and you won't get crushed.
Right.
And that actually happened to a guy.
Yeah.
And he said
he messaged me and he told me about it. Yeah, and I was just like, holy cow, like not only am I teaching somebody, but I saved their life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, and it's just, it becomes to me, because I do a lot of what we call evergreen content, right? Where I'm doing how-tos or installs and things of that nature. And I'm teaching people, or I'm trying to help people learn how to do these things. I'm not really a vlogger. I'm not really this blogger. I'm not doing the like, hey, this is the cool thing I did today. And we went swimming with geese, like whatever, I'm trying to help and inspire people to go out to work on their rig and then go out and have fun with their rig and like explore this world and have fun out there and take your kids along with you, because this world is so cool. And I sitting in front of a TV doesn't cut it. No. Even though I create YouTube channels.
I was just going to bring that up, but then you mentioned it. So,
yeah.
Cool. So what is your favorite off-roading trail to go out to and play around on?
Probably Fordyce.
Fordyce?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not, nowadays it is, but back in the day, it wasn't as busy as the Rubicon.
Yeah.
And so you could go a little slower, you could go faster, you can kind of go at your own pace. There's like the obstacles are almost nearly as difficult on both places. Some people will say Rubicon's more difficult. Some will say Fordyce is more difficult.
Fordyce is way more difficult.
I think Fordyce is more difficult.
Yeah.
Probably before they busted up Little Sluice, you could there might have been a good argument. And there's, it's just, there's really nice camping. I like getting away. For me, it's not because I'm on the 80 side. It's a lot closer than the Rubicon, by like half an hour or something, but not, so yeah, so that's probably my most favorite trail. Now there were some fun ones in Moab, but they don't compare to Rubicon and Fordyce are just legendary.
Okay. Now the next two questions, you may end up answering the same for both of them, and that's okay. And you may end up answering Fordyce for them too, but we'll see. What is your favorite place in the world? I think you already mentioned that, because it'd be Italy then.
Well, right? Italy if traveling. Yeah. But if it's off-roading, I'm going to use something that my grandpa kind of taught me. The best place to go off-roading is the place that you are.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Well, and it's not, I'm not trying to be vague and be like this, because it doesn't really, like, one of the things I really enjoy about my group of friends is that we have a good time no matter where we go. Because we're all friends and we're all hanging out. Right. And if we're going to Vegas for a weekend, we're going to have a great time. If we're going to the Rubicon, we're going to have a great time. And that, so there's not one of my most favorite wheeling places or, out there, or camping. There are some really, really nice places. Like I love Yosemite. I love Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And there's like some of the high desert is really cool. And then, there's the whole lake side up of Highway 49. That's really neat out by, Quincy out there, or Gray Eagle out by Gray Eagle area.
Like Gold Lakes area? Or, no, that's off 89 Truckee.
Yeah, no, it's farther up than that.
Yeah.
But, but if you're with family and you're with your friends and you just go out on a weekend camping trip and a car camping trip, that's when I have the most fun.
Nice.
You know, or if I'm going out, you know, just getting together as a community and having fun with it is what I enjoy.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
The next question was going to be, what's your favorite camping spot? But I guess that would be the same thing, wherever you happen to be that night. It could be a Walmart parking lot.
I'll do a backpacking side of that because I do enjoy backpacking. I really enjoy Sykes, which is down in Big Sur.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a 10-mile hike into hot springs. But I heard that with our big old rainstorm in the last few years, that it's kind of been washed away.
Oh, no.
Well, the hot springs and all are still sort of there, but they used to build them, like people lugged in on mules, like concrete, and built up like hot tubs. And those, I've heard those have been washed away. So I'm not sure. I haven't been down there since. Skyline to the Sea is a fun trail. And it goes from like Los Gatos area down to like Santa Cruz.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long trail.
Let me know if you have any questions or if you're enjoying these. Put that comment down below. I really appreciate it. You can hit right up there for part 3, the last one of these questions in this podcast. And I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, keep crawling.